Why was Europe so fragmented in the Middle Ages? One of the key reasons that people don't know is farming. Farm generates wealth through surfaces, land, and that is very hard to monitor. As a result, local lords, which knew the conditions, had a lot of power. Meanwhile, the church had a monopoly on information and therefore thought. And that system, over the following centuries, completely disappeared, replaced by nation-states. How did that happen? The book, The Sovereign Individual, talks about technologies, like, for example, the printing press. Thanks to that, the amount of content that was produced was massive, and that broke the chokehold of the church on information. There are other technologies like the agricultural revolution, for example. Better horses were bred, and new inventions were created, like the horseshoe, horse collar, and the heavy plow. These created a massive increase in crop yields. More food meant more population, and these massive increase in population meant that people went to cities. Cities are not surfaces, they're points, and points are much easier to control and tax. Another technology that dramatically impacted was transportation. Ocean-faring ships were invented by the Portuguese, and that enabled the creation of new empires. These empires traded through Atlantic ports. And these Atlantic ports were choke points that were also easy to control and tax. Later on, we had railroads and roads, which are natural monopolies, because they are physical networks, and that made them very easy to control by the nation-state. Another example of technology is silver. There was a dearth and shortage of gold and silver in the 1400s, and so miners started dramatically improving the technologies to extract these metals, and they succeeded. In Central Europe, the supply of silver increased by 4 to 5x in a matter of decades, and after that, lots of silver started pouring in from America. These things together meant that those who controlled mines, which are points, could make a lot of money through mine rents and seigniorage. And the people who controlled these mines at the time were the Habsburg, which had a near monopoly on silver globally, and that's why they were so powerful and why they were able to create nation-states like Spain and Austria. They couldn't have done this without financiers like the Fugger's or the Medici, because the bigger the state, the bigger the loan, the bigger the army, and so big states could overwhelm smaller states that couldn't afford big armies. We also saw this through violence. The Sovereign Individual talks about this. Fortresses used to be impregnable until cannons arrived, and they started destroying these fortresses, which got stronger, and then cannons got stronger, and fortresses got stronger, and on in a cycle where only the richest states could afford this. Energy is another source of technology that used to be distributed in medieval times. Water, wind, wood, human food, animals were all based on the sun, and the sun is a distributed technology. Whereas in the 19th century and 20th century, coal, oil, and so on and so forth are localized in geography, so much easier to control. I was telling you about the printing press before, and so other technologies like TV stations and radio stations also are now much easier to control. So all these technologies that used to be so strong and make the state a bigger force now make it weaker. You can beam the internet from anywhere now. You can, the English is becoming the global language. You have now, of course, cryptocurrencies. We're going back to solar as a source of energy. Remote means that you can work from anywhere on Earth, which means that now you can literally work from anywhere on Earth, make money uprooted from geography. So all these forces that used to make the world stronger, nation states, now are weakening it, ushering a new world of neo-medievalism. Thank you.